What Mode, round 52. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I'm your host, Todd Oxra, joined by our friend from the north, the Canardian, Mark Carabin. Welcome back, buddy. We missed you.
Thank you. I'm very, very happy to be back. I don't know. Did you get into why I missed out last time at all?
I just mentioned that you had a death family. Didn't go into any details.
Yeah, no, I don't mind sharing at all. Last time, so 2 weeks ago, I guess my grandfather unexpectedly passed away. So I got that news like, what was it, 30 minutes before we were supposed to record. So I was very happy that you and Ryan could take over and run with the episode. And it was a hectic and weird holiday with Finn's first Christmas and then all the the sad stuff thrown in there as well. So I'm very happy to be back. It's beginning to feel a bit more like normal now instead of a very, very weird holiday. So so it's good to be back. And again, thank you guys for just running it and the support and love I got from the Secret Friends crew was always great over the holidays. So thank you very much. So let's talk about some video games.
And we are very excited to have you back. I do have one question, Mark. So I just really want your quick take on the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, mercy. Very excited. Slightly disappointed that it won't be coinciding with Mando season 3. Like that seems to be what we're getting next year. It seems to be like Mando season 3 might be pushed back. I think anyway. But I'm very excited. I think they can go in very cool directions with all of the series that they're putting out. I'm wondering and a little worried that they're going to get into Skywalker saga trouble again, where if you're timing everything, we said like the 60-year, 70-year time of the Skywalker saga from episode 1 to episode 9 was, yes, it's been beaten to death. Let's go 100 or 200 or 300 years in the past or 400 years in the future and look at a different part of the galaxy. And I'm kind of nervous that they're going to get into that again with everything taking place in the timeline of The Mandalorian. And it's like, I don't know. Do we need, to find out what everyone's doing and, who had what for breakfast in the cantina that day. But right now, until they disappoint me, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are just, amazing and can do no wrong. So I'm very excited for it all.
So, folks, if you want more of this discussion point, Code 47's been talking about The Mandalorian, but if you want...
They have been. I was supposed to be on that episode, too.
Absolutely. So I'm glad you got to say a little bit about what's going on. Yeah. If you want more of this type of Star Wars talk, Charlie Carden, my co-host for Secret Friends, and Mark do Holocron Chronicles, so check that out because they are going to be going deep on Star Wars. So that is just a little sneak preview of what Mark will bring to that show. And by all means, just come for Mark's introduction because that's the best.
Thank you for the plug. That I wasn't sure if that introduction was a little bit leaning too geeky or what, but I was happy with just how like goofy movie announcer trailer guy kind of I went with it. So I was at the end of the day I was kind of like screw it, I'm just going to do it. So that we're having fun with that show. We're going to do a special episode this week.
Good. And
then come back with our December recap probably next week or the week after. So we're having a lot of fun with it. And like I said, I was supposed to be on Code 47 to discuss. They're discussing Mando as well a little bit, where we do kind of broader Star Wars canon. They can kind of focus down stuff on 47. So go check out their chat over there. And get the full thoughts, and then we'll go into Mando kind of as an overall story in our episode. So it's a whole lot of Star Wars love on the Secret Friends family, and it's fun, man. It's really great.
So this will be coming out Wednesday before New Year's Eve. This episode will be a lot about our thoughts on the year that was 2020. And then we're also going to talk about a little bit of news and what we've been playing. So let's get into that right now, though, with what we've been playing. Because, Mark, it's been a month since we've talked video games.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're going to talk about Fortnite, right? And he's like, not so much. I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, holy cow, after Fortnite had a fantastic year. But yeah, to your point, it has been kind of like come down off that cliff after Master Chief was introduced at the Game Awards.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, as usual, I have been playing a decent amount of Fortnite. But yeah, I don't need to get into the new season. They're bringing in hunters from various franchises. So we've had it started off with Mandalorian. We've seen Kratos. We've seen Master Chief. We got Michonne and Daryl from Walking Dead. I really expected there to be a new one in the shop kind of rotating in, but they rotated Master Chief out and they brought Kratos back. So I think they're kind of on break for the holidays. And it's been a little like there's some free things that you can go and get and, little challenges to do. And there's some snow back and airplanes that I want to talk about Cyberpunk instead of Fortnite. So I've been playing a little bit of Cyberpunk. Not lately, though. I played when it first came out. I had pre-ordered Cyberpunk long ago, apparently, and completely forgot. And then it was like Best Buy was like, hey, P.S., your game's shipping. And I was like, the hell are you talking about?
Decision made. I guess I'm getting this game.
That was it, right? So I have the Steelbook edition of Cyberpunk, and there we go. Honestly, though, I haven't run into too many performance issues on the Xbox Series X. A couple of there was a floating cell phone and a couple of weird little things, like all my clothes left at one point, and I was trying to look at a reflection of something. Anyway, aside from that, it was fine. It ran fine. But I am I've kind of put it aside, and I'm waiting for some patches and just for all the BS to boil over, because I don't want that to really affect how I'm playing the game and how my mindset is going into it. So if everything's negative that I'm reading and hearing and whatever, I'm going to go in looking for those flaws and looking for those problems. So I've kind of put Cyberpunk down. I played a couple of missions. I did enjoy them for what they were, but I think in a few months, the game's going to be better. And I have no problem just kind of putting it on the shelf for now. So that's my Cyberpunk experience, short and sweet.
Are you playing as a woman or male or transgender? Obviously, it's an option. The voice is weird, though, because essentially they don't give you like kind of a different option for voices. But which one are you doing?
Male. I just went male-ish, male, just a fairly standard looking fella, I guess. I didn't go too crazy with any cybernetics so far. I think I gave him robot eyes though.
Ooh,
instead of regular eyes. I think I went robot eyes and the marking stuff on his face. So it's all right. I did spend a decent amount of time just messing around with the creator. It's one of those things where it's like you can pick so many things, and it's like there are certain.
Does it matter?
There are certain areas that you can customize in this game for your character, and it's a first-person game. So unless you're looking down and taking your pants off or whatever, is that ever going to affect anything in this game at all? And also, the glitch that made my clothes disappear, I was Ken-dolled. So what the hell? It didn't
really matter.
It didn't. Like I was like, why did I choose my Wang when I'm going to be Ken-dolled in the mirror when my clothes vanish for a bug? So I don't know. It's a weird game, man. It's strange.
Yeah, you have to be very careful though. If you've like Ryan and I discussed, when you select certain areas, it just zooms in on your or zooms out on your character.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm topless woman. Okay. Mm-hmm. Be careful. Or I have no pants on and I'm a dude. And it's funny because you can Ken-doll yourself essentially, or you can do whatever you want. None of that's going to play. I mean, that would be very weird if any of those elements came into play, because that would be the most unique quest ever in a game, So whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
This is also the studio that made you get high and then your horse talked to you. So I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there could be a streaking mission. We don't know. You could have to cause a distraction and the easiest way to do that is to streak through the quad. And and then the dean gets all mad at
Frank
you.
To tank it.
You're yeah, exactly. So we're streaking. I don't know. Cyberpunk's a weird game, but I'm leaving it alone for a little bit.
Yeah, me too. I don't know how far you got. I'm playing it on PC. It looks great. It's up to like patch 10.106 or whatever, which fixed one of the most egregious errors. Like if your save was over 8 megabytes, apparently it would kill your save. So I'm like, why do we even care about the size of saves? Saves could be as big as they want to be. That's like the most important part of the game. Killing saves. That is like the if we ever wrote like a book of like commandments, Mark, of co-op mode, which we should in the future episode, like killing your saves is like the first commandment, thou shalt not do.
How did that get by? Because you have to assume that they were most likely testing this heavily on PC. Mm-hmm. You have to assume that the testers had very large save files because they're not only testing the game, but they're testing every aspect of the game and playing through every mission and every nook and cranny and finding every misspelled word. Have you seen the Night City misspelled sign?
No.
NIHGT.
Ooh.
City.
They are Polish studios, so maybe that's how they spell it there, Mark. I don't know.
No, it's a mistake that made it into the final game. Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, save file sizes, things like that. I know Skyrim back in the day on PS3 had some issues with save file issues that kind of borked the game on that system. So, yeah, this is a very PC first developed game. So I'm playing on PC. I made the decision a while ago. I was able to get it, so I'm going through GOG. But, yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I've only got through basically – I'm like on the first major mission. Got past the training mission, done some things. But, yeah, I'm basically calling this game like early access in 2020.
That's pretty much how I feel about it.
So I think we can keep this game safe for 2021 consideration for anything.
Maybe. We'll see how big patches and how much they change on it. The next-gen version, I suppose, would technically count as that.
I think so.
Because one game I was considering, spoiler alert, is Shantae and the Seven Sirens for like top game of the year list. It wasn't my top game, but it was, I love those games. And when I was looking up, I was like, yeah, man, that did come out in 2020, right? But it was actually released first in kind of a beta stage for Apple Arcade in 2019, but it was only half of the game. And then the rest of it came out when it was launched for console and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, I don't know if that counts. Maybe toss an honorable mention or something. I was trying to determine
we'll have to talk to the Academy, Mark,
how to do that. Yeah, I guess.
The consideration. But
so I guess maybe Cyberpunk, next gen version could be considered or something. But anyway, we'll kind of keep going there. What have you been playing?
So we're kind of do some crosstalk here, because played Cyberpunk, that's on hold. And I've had a good experience on Cyberpunk, so I don't want to be the guy that's being negative about it, but other people are handling all of the nonsense we don't need to cover.
Yes.
But a game that I finally got around to that I was hesitant was Hades. Enough people have said good things about this game that I'm like, you know what? I'll dig in. And it's on the Epic Games Store, and they also are offering $10 off anything over $15. So I'm like, perfect. This is going to be a $15 game then. I'll play it. And this is a roguelike, but it's made by Supergiant, which I've loved their games because they really lean on narrative and I would say mechanics. Those are the two major things they do really well. And this is a roguelike, which I don't like. I do not like roguelike games. I've gotten burned so many times, this is the one. No, it's not. This is the one. No, it's not. Kind of like card-based games. This is the one. No, it's not.
No,
but
never.
This game, I see the magic being made, despite me being horrible at it. And they let you know you're horrible at it or remind you of how many times you've been horrible at it. And that's the fun. Basically, you're the son of Hades. You're trying to escape Hades. And all of the gods and all of the different narrative partners primarily are trying to help you or bucking you there for giving you a little advice or maybe mocking you a little bit along the way. Apparently, Cerberus, he's your dog. But he's not exactly your biggest fan either. So it's kind of like, but he does things to mesh things up. So not fun. But this is essentially a a roguelike in the coolest sense, the fact that you're expected to fail. And they tell you why, and every time you come back, they add on to the narrative and how you interact. You gain, you don't lose anything, which is great. You don't lose your progression in regards to how you've progressed as a character in regards to your stats, things like that, which I love. And you then can take what you earned and then apply it to it and then continue forth and get better at the game. A lot of roguelikes, though, they punish you. Like, we're taking everything away and you start from scratch. That's my thing. This is, I think, handling it very well. It's a beautiful game. Plays well on Switch. Plays well on PC. That's the only places it is right now. It's performs well. It's really fun. The weapons you can use. So far, I love my sword. Do not like the bow and arrow for some reason. I
like the bow and arrow. I thought it was cool.
I don't like this because
I prefer the sword, but I thought the bow and arrow was neat.
Okay, so maybe I'm not further along, but I just like where this is going. I'm very early on, and it's really charming. So this is going to be – you're going to hear about this game more later on as a game where we talk about games that are released, unfortunately, this year that just don't get enough love from me because I'm late to the party. But that's a shame. But I really enjoyed it. And you played it too?
Yeah, very similar. I am late to the party, and this game was on so many Game of the Year lists. I really plan to, like, through the holidays, just plow through as much time with this game as I could. My brother was raving about it, and obviously some stuff happened that I didn't get to spend as much time with any video game, but Hades is a big kind of regret for me, I suppose, the last couple of weeks, because I wanted to consider it for my Game of the Year list, but I don't feel like I'm far enough in it to give it a full rating or whatever. So I've been playing it. I've been loving it. I understand why it's on so many Game of the Year lists, but spoiler alerts, I don't think it's really going to make it on mine, but I kind of understand why so many people love it. And I can't wait to get back in. I actually just turned on my Switch for the first time in a while today, so I'm feeling more video gamey today and whatever. So it's I'm excited to get back in.
Me too. It's going to be one of those games I continue to follow. Especially, I know my son will play it, Mark, and my son is he gets really big. He loved Transistor, which is from Supergiant. Loved that game. I kind of fell off very early on that game, but I think once he gets into Hades, he's just going to be hard to get off the PC, which becomes a problem of sharing systems. So I know I've gone a certain path. I may have to get an Xbox Series S just so I can play Game Pass games, because my son's playing on PC. I don't have a way to play them. So unless I do like streaming, but right now it's kind of limited, and I still have no way to do iOS yet. So I'm very much limited. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, absolutely. And that was something we missed last week, but we'll maybe touch on that a little bit. But yeah, I think there's hope for Game Pass on non-Android devices in 2021, which is going to be great. So Star Wars Squadrons, Mark. So I was hoping to have played this game by now, but as I told my Tale of Woe last week or last episode, the fact that Game Pass or EA Play for PC is not yet on Game Pass for PC because of some delays. I have not got yet to play this game. So my friend Sean Nias with Henry, they're playing it on PlayStation 4 on VR, actually, and they've raved about it. So what's your take on this game so far?
I would be very curious to hear what it's like in VR, because I was pulling off some maneuvers last night that I think would have made me throw up. It's the way I fly. I'm very quick. I'm in and out. I'm spinning. I'm doing a whole lot of stuff. And especially if you get me in something fast like an A-Wing or a TIE fighter, I am just a bumblebee on heroin. It's something. And I was thinking about that last night because when I finished playing last night, I was so into the game that, you know, if you're like on a boat or something and it's kind of rocking back and forth, and then you get on land again and you kind of still feel like you're rocking. Yeah. When I stopped playing the game, I stood up and I kind of still felt like I was doing loop-de-loops in my ship. And I was like, ooh, people play this in VR? Like, is that really a thing? Like, I'm just playing on a like a 60-inch or 55-inch screen or whatever I have. I don't know. I think that's some puke territory right there. But anyway, I'm really enjoying Squadrons. I will say that if you're on the fence on this game, it's good to test it out on EA Access or Play or whatever. through Game Pass, but it is only the first mission. It's a very small
it's
taste.
Not 10 hours like they're normal.
No,
really?
It's the first mission. Okay. That's it. You might be able to play some multiplayer. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But the story mode is like literally the first mission. It is such a tease, and I was happy to get it on sale. I got some Xbox money for Christmas, so this is what I bought, and I'm loving it, man. It's again one of those games that, have I played it enough? I'm through a decent amount of the campaign right now because I did get hooked on it. My wife was kind of enjoying watching it and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's really, really good. 2 years running, we've gotten great Star Wars games. I'm impressed. I'm liking it.
It's kind of cool when EA. It's funny I think we're making a pivot with EA. Mm-hmm. Seems like, at least, because it seems like they were allowed to make Star Wars Squadrons and do it the way they wanted to, which was basically standalone game, smaller, no DLC cost. But yet, even though they're giving you more stuff, which is cool, which we didn't think they were going to do.
Yeah.
And also then the Jedi Last Order from last year. So
yeah, my game of the year last year.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go next with the license, and maybe they're going to be a little bit more open because that license is only lasts so long. So they're like, hey, we're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink about it. I mean, you could replace that Bounty Hunter game on PS2 and make a new Mandalorian game, because I think they need to, because that game does not hold up. But yeah, I mean, that's cool. I love it. And quite honestly, I don't know how this will work, but I have Oculus Quest. Will that work with Game Pass on PC the way it's done? Maybe it will. I don't know. But that'd be great if I could play the VR in my Quest doing that, because that would be awesome.
That would be really cool. Yeah, let me know if that works, because
I'll give it a try.
I can tell you, as a Star Wars fan, did you ever play the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter or anything like that?
I played, which one was it? It was really old and had a lot of really early full motion clips. And it was kind of like a greatest hits of Star Wars on the PC. Had some flying missions, had some stuff on all the different areas, but I forgot what it was called. Rebel Assault was the game.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but that was really, that's like early, like 92. So I'm old, Mark.
Yeah. Now this definitely reminds me of like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, that kind of stuff, where it is all flying. It is just 100% dogfights. And my first online match, it was like so intense. I love the dogfighting there. It's really good, and a cool story that ties in to some Star Wars stuff that ties into the movies. I don't want to give too many spoilers or anything, but it basically happens immediately after Return of the Jedi.
Oh, that's cool.
Is where most of the story takes place. So the Empire is kind of scattered, and there's all these factions, and you play as the Empire at certain points. So you get their point of view of like, our Emperor has been killed. There's like factions, and it's split all over the place, and you get this kind of feeling pretty early on that it's like, I wish they didn't dissolve the Senate, because then at least we'd have someone in charge. And right now there's like nobody there. So you can kind of see how that led into some stuff that the Mandalorian's dealing with. It's really cool. If you're a Star Wars geek, try to get this on sale, because it's if you don't play the multiplayer, it's still going to be a cool Star Wars story that you get to see from both sides.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's been on sale, and it will be on sale. And if you have Game Pass, you'll get to play this, at least, like you said, a demo to make sure if you like it. And I think you get a discount on EA Play if you buy the game.
I think so, but
do they still do that? Sure, it used to be like if you had EA Play, you get like a 10% discount on the game if you wanted to buy it. So
yeah, I can't remember if it was on sale or sale plus the discount. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I was just like, yep, buy it, want it, let's go.
Yeah.
So
yeah, get it if you're interested. Yeah. And Charlie will probably just watch the movies or cutscenes.
The cutscenes, yeah.
Because he loves that, apparently, which is funny because I would say Star Wars video games have been my favorite part of Star Wars in the last, 5 to 10 years. I've loved so many Star Wars games, and that's really been my bread and butter, which is kind of funny because we've had some rocky roads along the way, but I've loved Force Unleashed, and I've loved a lot of different elements of Star Wars. So there we go. Plus Vader Immortal, and we got the new VR game, which I put on my wish list because I want to try that one out, because that's based
Galaxy's Edge.
yeah, Tales of Galaxy's Edge, and it's a little bit of everything. So very exciting times if you're a Star Wars fan. Very cool.
The amount of people who were hoping that Cal Kestis would show up in The Mandalorian, the amount of people that voted for Cal's lightsaber to be added to the lightsaber collection in Galaxy's Edge in Disney World and Disneyland, show that, yeah, man, that game really hit a chord with fans, and they're loving that character. It's only a matter of time. It has to be until some people from that, especially Cal Kestis, show up in some sort of show, movie, something. I mean, they based him off of the actor that played him. There's no reason to do that unless you're planning to have a little bit of cross save, I guess, to use
canon now. It's canon now, Mark. So it could be brought in. That's great. So check that out, guys. Really quickly though, I just want to hit a couple of things. Sackboy Adventures. I got the game through GameFly, gave it a try. It's not the game I want to play right now, but it is a game that I can definitely see the joy, and it's fun that this is it's a launch title for PS5, but it's also available on PS4, so it's a new Sony title that you can play, and this is basically Super Mario 3D World, and that's what it is. It's co-op, it's fun, controls significantly better than the Little Big Planet games. So I think they've kind of hit on the formula, and it's fun. There's boss battles and things like that. But I was just kind of like, I see what they're doing, but there's other games on GameFly I want to play, so I sent the game back. Maybe I'll check it out later, but it's definitely a game I think that's great for families. I think it's up to 4-player co-op. So this is like the game you want to play when you want to have a bunch of family members. You have younger kids, older people, and it's very fun. So check it out if you're interested. Then, Mark, you and I have both been playing Immortals.
Yeah.
Wowie wow.
I love it.
It's the game that I think of other games, and I'm like, but I could be playing Immortals, and then I start playing Immortals.
Yeah, I've been absolutely loving Immortals. If you're a Twitch Prime subscriber or Amazon Prime subscriber, there is an outfit that I just unlocked. I oddly enough, I got an ad, I think on Facebook or something like that. It was like, hey, don't forget to unlock this. I was like, okay, cool.
Yep.
But I am absolutely in love with this game. It is one of I'll talk about this later. Spoiler alert, it's making it on my top 5 game of the year list.
Absolutely. We are concurred.
Absolutely a fantastic new franchise, new IP, really exciting to see some new stuff come out this year instead of sequels and this and that, and for a game to come out swinging with this much personality right out of the gate. It's definitely not a perfect game. Like, there are some flaws. A few of the puzzles I was just like, it's kind of a task to go through, but overall this I absolutely love Immortals.
Yeah, I'm loving it. It's a game where I feel like it doesn't hold your hand. I had to reduce the difficulty. We talked about that earlier.
Kicks your ass.
But it's also a game where I feel like if you're not ready to take on a boss, which there's been multiple. Right now I'm against the Harpy boss, or whatever her name is. And I had to step away because I'm like, I'm not ready for her yet. But I've gone back to areas where I was getting my butt kicked, and now I'm wrecking, crap. I mean, I'm just going in. Yeah. And because there's been enough ways where I've found areas to have fun, enjoy the combat, improve myself, and just also enjoy the banter and the extra, the side quests and all those things. Yeah. And it's just really fun. And to your point, it's a little generic, but this is the team that made Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And you can tell they just love Greek mythology, and you learn a lot about Greek mythology through the fun, through the stories and all these things. Like, oh, I forgot about that. And the banter is great. I thought it was going to be annoying at first, but it's actually comes in when I think you need it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It is like you said, it will kick your ass 100%.
Well, yeah.
But and I think I talked about this before. Like, I went up against Achilles, and that's what caused me to turn my difficulty down. But I had to leave that fight and go do some other stuff. And when I came back and absolutely mopped the floor with Achilles a little while later, after I had done some upgrades and did a few other things and got a few new moves and a few new weapons and power-ups and all that kind of stuff. And when I'm saying mop the floor with Achilles, I mean like dude didn't touch me. I was on fire. I was doing everything right. And it was just like, it was one of those moments where, like in Breath of the Wild, when you take off and you go up against, something that usually a Lionel or a Hinox or something like that like early on, 100% is going to kick your ass. But when you get that and you're like, you're just in that zone, or even you take on a Guardian for the first time in Breath of the Wild, when it's shooting the lasers and you're just dodging the lasers and you go in it and you fly up, you hit it with a bow, then you come at it with a sword or something. You get that in this game, and it's so satisfying when you do. And I found myself like cheering. I said one of the my wife made fun of me so much for this. I believe the line that came out of my mouth was, "Oh look, no, oh awesome, a unicorn." I think but it came out a lot lamer than that. I'm even manning it.
Oh look, you're a unicorn.
It was pretty bad. But I got so excited, and she was like, "Did you just get like schoolgirl type excited over a unicorn?" I was like, "Yes, I did." Don't shame me. But I, even those little moments of like, I caught a unicorn, I caught a Pegasus, added them to my my little stable kind of thing of horses. Those little moments are they're so much fun.
My wife was amazed I was talking about a cabbage. Because I'm like, there's a area I have to find a cabbage. Where the hell's the cabbage? I found the cabbage. I love cabbage. So yeah, it just really is the game I needed. Unfortunately, this game is, I don't know why, it's already marked down to $30 everywhere, which is a shame. I really wish they had swapped out this game for Watch Dogs.
Yes.
It would have made much more sense. But this is the game from Ubisoft that everybody can play. I don't think everybody can play AC Valhalla. I don't think everybody can play Watch Dogs. So it really feels like, and I know they had success with like a Far Cry game in December once, which really caught fire. And people are just loving this game, but I just don't know if people just ran out of money to buy games after Black Friday or whatever. So, but if you can find this game on sale, I think it's well worth it. I think this is family friendly. It's fun. This is great. My son, I'm telling him, you're going to love this game, Logan. He loved Breath of the Wild. This would be right in that wheelhouse. And people that didn't love Breath of the Wild, this may fix some of those things you didn't enjoy. And if you like Breath of the Wild, don't push it off as just a Breath of the Wild clone, because this feels a lot of the things that I think that the AC games brought forward. A lot of the those experiences, the Far Cry, I think they have been building towards this, and I think it's just the bad part that this game is getting the Breath of the Wild stealing these things versus AC like the Ubisoft games have been kind of building for us this anyway. So I hope people give it the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely, and don't be worried about where you pick it up. It plays really well on Switch. Obviously doesn't look as pretty as the new consoles. If I have a choice, and we were lucky enough to get multiple codes for this, which is awesome. But if I have a choice, I will obviously go to my Xbox Series X, and it looks amazing. I've heard Sean Capri talk about he thinks this could be a Saturday morning cartoon. It reminds him of like Disney's Hercules, that kind of stuff. Absolutely. And on Series X or PlayStation 5 or probably, PC, whatever, it looks phenomenal. But on Switch, it is perfectly capable. It's still beautiful. It still plays really smoothly. And it's a great place to play. And like you said, it's the only one of Watch Dogs, Valhalla, and this game that is on Switch. And I think Ubisoft looked at like how the audience for this game could react and said, we need to get this on Switch. And they put in a lot of work to make it work so well on Switch. So don't skip it if that's your preferred place to play. Don't think that this is just a dumbed down version of it, because it is on, new gen consoles and stuff. The game really holds up on Switch. And I've been playing it across everything, thanks to Ubisoft, like the cross save and stuff. It's great. But yeah, it's great anywhere you play it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So highest recommendation, and we'll talk about this game at the end of the show because, yeah, it does make a return appearance. But lastly, I don't talk a lot about multiplayer games. I'm not a multiplayer guy. I just not. I don't know. I can converse with anybody. When it comes to gaming, though, I freeze up. Like, I don't know how to speak to other people as I play games. It's very dumb because I play with somebody next to the couch, but whatever. I tried out the Gears 5 Escape multiplayer mode, which is very fun. It's just a very simple 3 players. You are setting basically this charge of bad gas. I don't even know what it is. This stuff. And it's basically driving out the hive. And you're trying to escape and get out and survive. That's all it is. And I played it with some just randoms, and I had a blast. It's very fun. I picked one of the New Day cast because that was free DLC I got back in the day, and it was just a lot of fun. You do run out of ammo, just so you cannot just use your ammo just killing.
Not just run and gun.
Nope, and it's fun, and you do upgrade and do those things. So this is just a cool mode within Gears that I think kind of got overlooked. But it was definitely brought forward in the E3 that Gears 5 was revealed. But I think it's one of the fun ones. And Gears does a great job of multiplayer where it's more so PvE versus PvP, which I prefer. Kind of like Fortnite does a lot of that too, where you're just having fun against the environment. Same with Destiny. So you don't have to feel like you're the one that is dying all the time. You're helping your team regardless of how little you do. And this is fun. Right. So, Mark, this goes back to – I think we are going to have our first official, hopefully, co-op mode with Gears 5 Hive Busters. I've got a friend, Sean, who wants to play. I've said I'm going to play. I'm going to play it on PC. I think I figured out the chat and everything there. You have Xbox Series X. He does as well. I think this will be fun. It's a 3-hour campaign max, and I think this could be a blast.
Yeah, it's downloaded and ready to go after we were talking about it the other day. So, yeah, I'm excited. I love the Gears franchise, but have not played Escape yet. So let's crush it.
Hive Busters is supposed to be just
Busters,
awesome. Yeah, apparently they've done things with like these characters have special like abilities and different things we haven't seen before. It's got different areas of Gears we've never seen before, and it's not like you have to have played Gears 5 to feel like you're getting anything spoiled. So I like that as well. So yeah. I cannot wait because I like playing with others. I love Destiny playing with others. I just haven't done a lot, so I'm excited to see where this goes. Well, that is it for what we've been playing. We now get into New Flash. This is basically our stories of the last 2 weeks. Mark, you missed a lot with the Game Awards, but we covered that with Ryan. But we did miss you and your hot takes on certain things. But one thing that's definitely hot, and that's a certain thing from a certain military official who makes food.
Yeah. So back to the Game Awards briefly. Not too much I want to talk about. There are a few upsets, a couple of obvious choices and stuff, but I thought the Game Awards were fine for what they were. I watched most of it, but didn't watch it live, so I did kind of skip through a few things, but it's fun. But yeah, what you were talking about, coming some news that's coming in hot.
Finger licking good news.
It's there's
sorry, had to do it.
I was gonna try to make a finger licking good pun there, but you beat me to it. So the KF console is a real thing apparently. It is a KFC bucket shaped PC. Although I am kind of disappointed that it's a black. It's a black PC. I was really hoping they'd 100% lean into it and do the white and red, like the stripes, and make this look 100% like a bucket of chicken. But it is it's a real working device, and not only is it a real working device, but it is a beast of a PC. Looking at these specs, but it also features the world's first chicken chamber, designed specifically to keep the contents hot and ready for consumption during intense gaming sessions, because nothing goes with gaming like hot, greasy chicken all over your controller. I don't even know what to say about this thing, but like I said, it is kind of a beast. It's got an Intel Nuke 9 Extreme compute element, buttery smooth graphics, VR ready, supports 4K, 1 terabyte SSD. The thing's a beast, and like estimates from the stuff that's inside it, you were saying like $1,500.
Yeah, SpawnWave did a little take on it, and that's probably underestimating it because obviously then you'd still need other elements to do this. But it's just kind of crazy that this is also consoles want to be cool. You're heating things in this, and it's apparently going to use the heat of the components to heat the chicken.
That's it. Yeah, as it cools the components, like you have your cooling system normally. It draws the heat away somewhere. Put your hand over an Xbox Series X when it's on and running, and you will feel a bit of heat, and that's dissipating the heat away from the CPU, GPU, and all the internal components. This one is dissipating that heat, but it's also taking some of the heat away and putting it in this chicken chamber, which is a word I say now.
Just say it like it rolls off your tongue, Mark.
Keeping the chicken, because there's a chamber that fits a piece of KFC chicken, and I don't know. I kind of want one of these, and at the same time, I kind of want to burn out the part of my brain that knows about this. So I'm all over the map on this thing. How are you feeling about the KF console?
KFC is like the greatest marketing company of all time that also makes chicken. I mean, I don't know if you saw the fact that there was going to be a like Hallmark movie with Mario Lopez from Saved by the Bell as the Colonel. Mm-hmm. That was an infomercial for chicken and romance, so that's great. They've had so many people play the Colonel now, Rob Lowe, Ray Liotta. It doesn't matter. And the fact that this is
Rob Lowe, that's amazing.
It's crazy. And this essentially is now taking the buzz on all the air fryers everybody are buying right now, including myself. That's my company's 15-year gift to me is an air fryer. So there you go. This is basically giving every husband or spouse or whatever to say, honey, we need this console because it's essentially an air fryer as well. This is like dual purposing your love of gaming and food together. I think this is genius. Mm-hmm. I don't know though if they're going to only make like 3 of these, and that's it. This is this is it.
I wonder if this is just a PR stunt or can you buy this?
And just imagine owning one of these, Mark. And it's like you own a piece of gaming and fast food history.
Absolutely.
Would you sell it or would you keep it?
Oh, no, I'd keep that. 100% keep it.
Okay.
At least for a little while. But and you hope the value kind of goes up. I'm sure as it becomes, I might be tempted to sell it later on down the line. But like just as a conversation piece, this thing would be front and center, like maybe not even hooked up, just like sitting on my entertainment unit or somewhere in my living room where I can be like, yeah, that thing PC, but also keeps my chicken nice and warm.
That's about the only way we're going to get you to get a PC, Mark, anyways.
This would be that's 100% true. One final thing I just want to touch on. You said they're marketing geniuses, and I love the thing I love most up until the KF console is that KFC's Twitter account follows 5 Spice Girls and 6 guys named Herb. 11 different herbs and spices.
Oh no. They went there.
That is legit. That is actually what KFC follows on Twitter. So KFC, king of the trolls and weird little PR things. They are absolutely phenomenal. And the KF console, yeah, I want one.
They may be only second to Arby's great tweets.
Oh, I don't know, man. Walmart Gaming Canada can give anyone a run for the money. They are fantastic.
So next story is kind of our last story, and it's just something we just wanted to cover because we talk about the greatest things, but we don't always touch on the bottom 10 games of Metacritic this year. Oh my goodness, Mark. Are you familiar with the Cooking Mama for Switch game that came out this year?
No, I was not.
Goodness. Yes, this game was notorious because apparently it didn't get permission from the licensing of Cooking Mama, and also apparently there was rumors, we don't know if this is true, that essentially was going to get on consoles to basically mine bitcoins. Yes, you heard that right. So this came out And apparently people were trying to buy physical copies because they're like, this is going to be like a collectible because this
100%.
game is notorious. And apparently none of that came true, but it was still a horrible game, did badly, despite all of the opportunity for Bitcoining and collectability. So sorry, Cooking Mama, you didn't get your comeback. Maybe Babysitter Mama will come back as well.
The Cooking Mama games were so popular on the DS, and it's so weird to see that franchise just completely, like, not even just burn itself out, but like go into weird conspiracy theory territory. Yeah. Like, that is a strange story.
This is 2020, Mark. This is what we get.
Accurate.
We've deserved this for a long time. I guess it's all our collective sins have come together in 1 year and said, take that. So let's go through these. Number one, the number one negative Metacritic for games is got a 29 on Metacritic, and that's Tiny Racer on Switch. It's officially the worst game. It was Ice Torch's interactive $10 Switch Racer. Apparently the gameplay was bad. And this is the quote. Tiny Racer offers nothing that you haven't seen before or does anything special that requires you to play it. It feels like a game that was created in about a week without any attention to details or a specific goal in mind, aside from let's make the cars tiny. Honestly, they haven't failed in that regard. It's been said that Nintendo allows practically anything on the Switch eShop nowadays, and Tiny Racer has strengthened that belief for me. Remember, Mark, when everybody was saying Nintendo is like curating? That's why they've let
the Nintendo seal of quality.
Yes, they brought it back.
So the number two, the 13 or XIII remake on Xbox One. This was a remake of a 2003 first-person shooter, which was also based on a Belgian graphic novel series. Shout out to Belgium. This Caravan's actually Belgian. That's a Belgian last name. So actual shout out to Belgium, but not to this game.
Or Caravan. Is it? Do I have to add a different pronunciation, Mark?
Maybe the French side, so like Caravan, kind of, you know,
with a cigar in my mouth and a beret.
With a little long stem cigarettes or whatever you call those. Anyway, where was I? Anyway, they're saying this game is buggy, changes the original's gameplay and look. Fans weren't happy. The publisher issued a formal apology, which is never a good thing. This one got a 32 on Metacritic.
I like that it says it's held together with sticky tape and paper clips. David Duchovny actually did the voiceover in this game too.
Yeah, I remember when this the original first came out. Like, it was
cool when it came out.
It was cool. It was but this one apparently changed way too much and was completely out of touch with what made the original one cool. So, LOL.
Number 3 got a 33 on Metacritic. This is Dawn of Fear on PS4. Not sure if it came to anybody else. It's modeled after 1990s era Resident Evil games. Baroque in the sites.
I think it's Broken Sights.
Yeah, it's got a 3 in it. You should never have Leet Speed in your game developer's name.
No.
It's bad juju. It's Broken Sights. Survival horror game was plagued by technical issues and a generic design. Apparently, this was supposed to be a Resident Evil 2 remake originally when they planned it, and apparently they didn't know this game was ever being made by Capcom, but it did. Dawn of Fear tries to bring back the nostalgia of classic survival horror, but fails in almost every way. The poor controls lead to most of its problems, and lack of necessary mechanics creates problems that shouldn't exist in this day and age from the simplest of games. Lack of necessary mechanics.
Oof.
I thought it was like giving you unnecessary mechanics, like taking a poop. Nope, it's lack of necessary mechanics.
That might add some personality to this game. It doesn't sound like it adds much.
Well, do what you do.
Yep.
Number 4, Mark.
Fast and Furious Crossroads. After seeing this at the Game Awards, I think everyone was shocked that this game wasn't Game of the Year contenders. Originally meant to be released alongside the 9th Fast and Furious movie, which was instead postponed to 2021. This arcade-style racing game from Codemasters, Slightly Mad Studios received unanimously negative reviews thanks to poor controls and a lack of depth and polish. How can you do a racing game with poor controls? I don't know. Little quote here from CD Action. I can't believe the studio behind Project Cars and Need for Speed Shift developed such an atrocity. I guess this is what happens when you're assigned a laughably tight budget and have to spend half of it on voice acting by movie stars, and the publisher wants the game to imitate a AAA title. Fast and Furious Crossroads got a 34 on Metacritic.
Mark, one thing that happened in the Game Awards, we saw that Vin Diesel is back in video games, making Arc 2 for Xbox. Do we really need more Vin Diesel in games?
Yes, we always need more Vin Diesel in everything. I will fight you on that one. But no, you know what? Vin Diesel has had some hit and miss video games. I mean, he started Tygon Studio to do the Pitch Black series and get into that kind of stuff. And those games were good back on original Xbox 360, whatever.
Yeah, the remake was on 360, which was supposed to be really great. Yeah,
fantastic. So, I mean, the guy loves video games. He wants to be in video games. Arc looks way cooler than this garbage fire. So I think this one should just be put in the garage and let him have his fun.
Yeah, the best Fast and Furious game on consoles, I believe, was the DLC that went to Forza Horizon 3. So play that instead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
there we go. Yeah. So number 5, Arc of Alchemist on Switch got a 36 on Metacritic. Idea Factory's action RPG left critics unimpressed by its dated-looking graphics and uninspired story. We got Discovered, which is Charlie's favorite news, fake news place. Like apparently they play games too. Thanks to the choppy frame rate, horrible combat, and forgettable characters and story, Arc of Alchemist fails to elicit anything more than a shrug and a sigh. Unless you're a hardcore Idea Factory and Compile Heart fan, stay away, far away from this one. I don't know this game, but yeah, the name just...
No clue.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Switch has about games because I don't know anything.
Switch needs some curation for sure. We've been saying that for a long time, and it's just more and more evident every single week. Like I said, I powered on my Switch for the first time in a couple of weeks and looked through some of the eShop stuff, and it was just like, what are these games? Like, what is this garbage? Like, it's just there's so much, and it's hard to sift through. Like on Game Pass, you can kind of look through and you can be like, okay, well, this game has a really dumb name, but I can try it because it's Game Pass and it doesn't cost me anything extra. On Switch, it's like, why is this game that looks like absolute trash $25? I'm never ever going to try that ever. It's not a good. I don't know. They need to figure some stuff out.
I used to try the demos out on Switch because I'm like, oh, what's the demos? I'll try those out.
Yeah.
There's just too many now.
100%.
It's overwhelming. And it's just like, yeah, I remember when Bobby Pauls, Bobby, please get back healthy soon. But Bobby's like, yeah, Switch is going to do this whole, curation. Only the best will get through. And I don't know what changed. They essentially said they gave up. Anything goes on the eShop, and there you go. So, folks, if you need questions about what the best games are, we can help you out with that. Don't buy, don't buy blindly, please. Yeah,
for sure. Number 6, we got Remothered, Broken Porcelain. What? I don't even want to.
Is it a toilet game, Mark?
I don't know. Maybe you broke the toilet and your remother is mad. I don't even really want to read anything more about that.
I don't even know what this means.
I have no idea. And this is part of the problem is I could read this paragraph, but I kind of want people to decide what remother is. No, I will. I don't even know. Like Broken and Buggy, Remothered Broken Porcelain is marred with poor design decisions, a nigh incomprehensible plot, and a lot of poor taste. In its current state, it's barely playable, and it's really not worth the effort. That is from PC Invasion. This is one of those games that sounds so terrible that I kind of want to see what it's about now. But also, and like, okay, so they mentioned poor taste there. Like, what is this? Like, is this like, I don't know. I don't know.
Mark,
I'm not going to go there. Let's move on.
I think the title gets you to that poor taste. Just start imagining what remothered means and just walk away.
It's not called stepmothered.
No,
broken porcelain. So that could, I don't know. Just move on, Todd. I'm going to get in trouble.
It's like that TLC. I didn't know I was pregnant.
Yeah, I don't want to do this.
Ooh. Okay, moving on. This is a family podcast. Whoa. I remember this game. Oh my goodness. I'm like, this looks promising. Number 7, Tamarin on PS4, got a 40. Hailing from Chameleon Games, home to a number of former Rare developers, this cutesy at first glance platform adventure failed to recapture the magic of the latter studio. Oh, and it's not as cute as it looks. The titular monkey spends the game destroying enemy bugs with heavy weaponry, among other acts of unexpectedly bloody violence, so it's not exactly for kids. And this is from Gaming Age. On some level, I guess Tamarin is sort of amazing in that I can't think of when I last played a game that was this much of an outright disaster in every level. Played plenty of terrible games recently, but at least in those cases, you could see what you were going for, and you could imagine what good version of those games might look like. In Tamarin, the game is an absolute fiasco at a conceptual level. That doesn't mean you should play it, of course, but the game gets points for effort, if absolutely nothing else.
I had hope for this game.
I did too.
It was not only Rare developers, it was people that did Jet Force Gemini. And the bugs even looked like they were taken straight from Jet Force Gemini.
It did.
And what a train wreck. 40 on Metacritic. Let's move on to number 8. Street Power Soccer. This is another one I know you were really excited for. LOL. Priced like a FIFA Street title, but lacking the accompanying polish and depth, this Street Soccer title, published by Maximum Games, certainly won't change your mind if you find soccer boring. From Sixth Axis, I went into Street Power Football hoping for an enjoyable take on a sport and was genuinely astonished with how bad the whole package is. This would be unforgivable were it a budget I just pressed something. We're at a budget title, but to then have the temerity to stick a full retail price on this just takes the biscuit. I've racked my brains, but I couldn't find anything positive to say about this title. Even my kids, who are not fussy when it comes to multiplayer gaming, only managed about 10 minutes before turning it off. Perhaps the best thing to come from playing this abomination of a game is that it encouraged me to dig out my GameCube and Sega Soccer Slam to try to cleanse my palate. Wow. I love just the saltiness in some of these reviews. I kind of we keep getting sent really good games, whether it's Shantae or Ubisoft games or something. Please someone send me a terrible freaking game so I can.
Ooh, yes.
I just really want to rip something apart. This sounds like so much fun, but also kind of mean. So
let's find out what Maximum Games is doing next, Mark. We need to find their publicity manager, and we're good to go. I love the fact that this is very British because it says biscuit, which means cookie.
Yeah.
Do they say biscuits or cookies in Canada?
Cookies.
My father-in-law is British, so biscuit can mean a cookie or something you put gravy on, and I'm not putting gravy on a chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah, no. If you come at me with an Oreo and gravy, I'm gonna punch you in the throat.
Exactly. And gravy, and according to most Italians, gravy can mean a tomato sauce, which just wrecks my brain too.
That's weird.
Moving on. This is not a food podcast. Number 9, Gleamlight on Switch. Okay, I'm seeing it looks like kind of like a cutout with colored glass, which is kind of cool. The Switch side scroller may look decent on the surface, which I kind of did. It kind of looks pretty, but it only really gets the hollow part of the Hollow Knight formula down. There's very little content, and what's there isn't exactly fun or coherent. This is from Switch Player. Hollow Knight, this is not. With a flawed control system, dreadful music, and painfully unfair platforming, this is a game you will want to end as quickly as possible. Thankfully, it is over in about an hour. It got a 42, folks.
Yep.
Maybe that should be a good thing. It was over quickly. That's a positive.
Doesn't make me want to drop some money down for it, for sure.
Ooh, this is
rounding out the list, we have 42 on Metacritic, The Elder Scrolls Blades on Switch. This was originally an iOS game and was touted as a showcase at an Apple keynote event. So it's so terrible to to see this really, really fall that far down. Sometimes games don't translate well to handheld devices, even when designed from scratch for smaller screens. This is the case with Bethesda's latest entry in its 26-year-old fantasy action RPG franchise, Blades, which was deemed boring and tedious by reviewers. Yeah, it never caught me on iOS, and dumbing it down to Switch was just like, what do you guys, why? The Elder Scrolls Blades is a bland and repetitive grind, a free-to-play mobile game all dressed up like a proper Elder Scrolls title, but lacking any of the adventure, exploration, wit, or charm of a mainline entry in the franchise. That is from Nintendo Life. And when this came out, I think I even said on this show that I was really excited to see some developers take some mobile games, and I thought that might be how they tackle going to next generation with the other consoles, and like what is Switch going to get. And at the same time, we were seeing some of these type of games coming on mobile platforms, and that might be easier to put on a tablet like the Switch. So it sucks that these kind of games are just like, no, more shovelware than Shovel Knight. So very disappointing. But those are some terrible games of the year.
Yeah, don't buy these, folks. Don't play them. We've got better games for you, and we're going to tell you that. And it's funny because, Bethesda has a better mobile game you can play, and that is Fallout Shelter, and it's on Switch. So play that instead.
It's a great translation on Switch.
Absolutely. So that is it for the news, folks. We gave you the worst. Now we're going to give you the best. Well, now we move from the news to the bonus round. This is very exciting because we always look forward to kind of how the year ended and kind of what surprises we had. So this we're calling eventually. I don't know, Mark. Are we going to officially name our awards? I give it something, but that could be connotated badly. I called it the Goaties. I'm not sure. We had the Couchies.
Couchies. Let's go with the Couchies. Yeah. Okay, the Couchies. The co-op couch.
The Goaties could go badly if you look up other things on the internet. So
misspelled let's go with the Couchies.
First, biggest news story. And this is kind of like, it doesn't have to be one story, but it could be a story of the year. And 2020 was obviously new. So Mark, you called out something that I'm surprised actually happened this year.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I called it out. Is the biggest news story was the console launches. We saw 2 brand new consoles launch very recently, and kind of up until they were really released or pre-ordered a month before you could buy them, kind of thing. This was up in the air. A lot of people were saying, were there going to be supply chain issues? Were there, obviously we didn't get the games, and that was kind of a disappointment of the year. But for the consoles to launch, to still have an okay supply, I know that, they're obviously still very constrained. But that was a good way, in my opinion, to still end the year like it was a regular year. We still got console launches. Launches were different. There was no lining up. There was no none of that buzz, but a lot of it was happening online instead, and still is happening online. So I thought the biggest news story were the console launches, but more on just more to just launching consoles. I mean, we saw big swings from both Xbox and Sony. Sony was a little bit more reserved. Xbox was out there buying up new studios, really hitting hard, going at it from weird places, whether it was, announcing what their console looked like, or announcing features, or announcing, again, like I said, just crazy acquisitions. Microsoft really went into this console launch swinging for the fences, but also in a very, very different way than just saying simply, we have the most powerful console, which they do, and they have said that, but they're also saying like, but we don't care if you play it on that. We also have this cheap, lower powered console. We also, you can play on your phone or your tablet or a freaking refrigerator. It's wild, the approach that they're going with this, and as similar as these two consoles and game makers are, they're very much approaching it from different angles and with different technology. And PlayStation is innovating with controllers and sound and this and that. And Xbox isn't really doing that as much because they're kind of taking a more PC like approach with this, whereas you can get it on their box, you can get it on, like I said, your phone, your tablet, this, that, whatever. So it's a very interesting launch, and I can't wait to see what 2020 brings to it. But that was my favorite kind of news story to follow through this year was the console launch story as it evolved.
You're absolutely right. I mean, I think about this, and Xbox started, they entered 2020 with announcing at the Game Awards, this is the big daddy. This is coming, guys. Mm-hmm. And it's like, wow, we didn't really expect that from Xbox. They never did that. The previous generation, they kind of stuck to the original mores of E3. You launch it, you announce it at E3, and you launch it 3 months later. They kind of took a page from PlayStation the previous year, where PlayStation had their big launch event for PS4 in the, I think January or February. Xbox got in front of that, and they said this is going to be our year to kind of control the message, and they did a really good job. They had a couple of stumbles along the way, but they've really fulfilled their dream. And even when the Series S was kind of just leaked, they just said, you know what, we're not going to bring out our 45-minute video with people, which was a good thing. I saw that video. I'm not sure if you ever did, Mark. Horrible video. I actually preferred the way they did it, which is like, oops, here it is, folks. Our Twitter team is on it. The system is coming. And it was great. Yeah.
And I love how even after they were like, P.S. this was behind Phil in that video. We showed you this a while ago. It was a fun rollout, and they did the best with what they had.
Yeah, and we even got an Xbox fridge, and we even got Xbox Jenga, apparently, that's being shipped.
Yeah, I saw some Jenga floating around. That's cool.
It's the most powerful Jenga we've ever gotten before. Oh, my God.
One of my favorites.
All of the Jengas.
Is Jenga a board game? Would you still call that a board game?
Yes, absolutely.
Tabletop game. Either way, it's one of my all-time favorites. I love Jenga. So it's super cool to see when I see special editions of Jenga, like the Donkey Kong one.
Donkey Kong one's great. Yep, that's
great. Super fun. So seeing that float around on Twitter, it's like, oh, that's awesome. I kind of want an Xbox Jenga.
Yeah, and PlayStation did the weirdest things. They did the Wired articles. We didn't see the box until E3. Whatever you call it. And they went forward, and it's funny you say 2 consoles. We eventually got 4 consoles. We got a Series S, Series X. We got the booty version of the PS5. We got the non-booty version, which no disc. We've never had
5 consoles.
4?
No, 5. We got the Game & Watch.
Oh, no. Yes, we did. Oh, we also apparently got the Atari VHS that just launched too.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right. People are getting that console even though they never knew they ordered it. So there you go. Yeah, life happened. What is it? Jurassic Park. Life will find a way.
Yes.
Yes. There we go. So yeah, it all happened. And quite honestly, people can complain, but these systems are doing very well. They're performing well. There's no things exploding and things like that. I mean, we've had some hiccups along the way, but I think everybody's got them, at least that can get them, is pretty happy with them. And I would say that I've got at least the PS5. You got the Series X. I may get a Series S down the way because I need to, because my son's not letting me play Xbox games on the PC. Oh well, we'll see where that goes. So yeah, I think this has been a cool year. The fact that we actually made this happen in the era of COVID is just crazy, and that actually leads into mine. Stories, basically how resilient video games were in 2020. And it's amazing how video games kind of kept us sane, and they were the one industry of entertainment that flourished beyond streaming, say. Because if you think about it, we had some games that were supposed to come out this year that didn't. We had some games that we didn't think were going to come out this year, like The Last of Us 2, that said indefinitely delayed. And then all of a sudden, June. It was kind of crazy. It was just there. We got games that we got lucky that they launched how they did, which was Animal Crossing. That worked really well for Nintendo because it kind of carried them through in a year where Japan struggles with how to exist in this type of environment for game development. Yeah. They don't do this. They have to be together in certain instances. Plus, they're
especially Nintendo.
Yeah, they're so secretive. They don't want anything to be lost or found. So that game carried them through in a way that we did not expect, because Animal Crossing, as now we think it's the biggest thing in the world. It's never been the biggest thing in the world. And that's the interesting part, which has been a very fun time. We had Resident Evil 3 that they just basically said, we're shipping this damn game. And Final Fantasy VII Remake, we're just shipping these games. Even before they can be available on retail, they're available on digital. And that allowed – and that's why digital is just taking off like we never saw before. Nintendo. People can't go to the store always and buy the game. So this is really a change that we weren't expecting. And it's been fun. We've got, I really did not expect Sony to be able to launch all of their games this year and do well without many bugs, right? I mean, I did not expect Ghost of Tsushima to be one of the most solid games of the year because of
surprise.
Plus, it also launched surprise DLC with Legends that nobody even talked about until it came out 2 weeks later. And Animal Crossing got consistent updates. And just we keep on seeing the numbers and how they sold and how well they did. And just this has been the best year in the year that should be the decline, right? Xbox should be dying because they're launching new ones and they sold out. And I go to my stores, I still don't see Xbox Ones or PS4s on the shelf. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been surprising. So with that, resilient video games, we had some bad news, but the fact that we still got a Assassin's Creed game, we got big games like Call of Duty, we got all the big franchises, we got new franchises with PlayStation, we got just the culmination of progress going forward on Xbox Game Pass. It's been phenomenal. So as bad as 2021 was for everybody else, but video games, man oh man, we thrived and I'm thankful.
Absolutely. And it's a good time to bring in a couple of things from Twitter. So on our @co_op_mode_pod on Twitter, we asked, what are your categories that we're going to be going through? So Adam Leonard from Megadads, go give them a listen. They're delightful. I love that show. It is not for the mega kids though. Not
until you're Megadad.
But a great show. So his very similar to yours. The biggest news story is COVID completely changing the entire industry, and I think you touched on most points of how it changed. But it's interesting to see how so many industries changed and adapted to COVID, and video games was one that was able to bring so many people together, but also, very much changed the industry, I think, moved digital adoption up probably 5 years. Would you kind of agree with that timeline, time scale?
Nintendo was always lagging, and now I think they're at least 50%.
Yeah. Edward Varnell at that retro code, top news, Switch #1 for 2 years. Which was that was also quite an achievement, and especially coming in with new consoles and new, more powerful hardware, and kind of admittedly a slow year. I think if it wasn't for the pandemic, like you said, Animal Crossing would have sold like an Animal Crossing game does, but I don't think Nintendo had a lineup this year that lent itself to having another record year until we were all locked in our house exactly when Animal Crossing was coming out. And it was a great way to get together, host a talk show, grow massive numbers on Twitch, whatever.
Just progress voting for Joe Biden.
Right? It was the game that needed to be there at that time and helped Nintendo Switch continue its success. Like Edward said, for 2 years, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, in Brian Osterman in the Secret Friends group basically said it's the biggest news story. No one can get a next gen console, which is I feel so bad because I got a lot of them. I'm like the worst one because I'm like I got a lot of them and I got them to people, and that was the good thing. That was me being console clause. I wanted to help people get consoles because I knew how difficult it was, and if I would have gotten more, I would have gotten more. I would have gladly taken them out of the scalpers and the bots, because that was another story. The bots are just a plague, and apparently no one wants to do anything about them because it's not a big thing until, it's only for a short period of time, and eventually supply will get back. So the big story is don't buy from scalpers on eBay.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find a PlayStation 5 for my brother. I mean, he's looking as well, but over the holidays we were together, and he looked at my phone. He's like, "Why do you have 29 Twitter notifications?" And it's just like, because I've so many like Game Deals Canada and like a few other places
and
that
mobile
like,
news, Wario 64,
right? Tell people when stock's coming back. So I was like, that's your freaking fault. This is your fault. Is my phone is like this. I'm 100% blaming you. And he was like, oh, thanks. It's like, well, it hasn't worked yet, but I'm trying. I'm really trying to get that guy a PlayStation 5. So hopefully soon. But yeah, it is if you didn't get on that instant pre-order when they first went up and get lucky like we did, it has been really, really trying.
Yeah, it's been weird. And just I go to Cheap Ass Gamer as well. They are good about that as well on their Twitter. Yeah, so just stay focused. If you need suggestions, let us know. We will help you find a place to get these. If I end up getting some more just out of the blue, I will try to help out people as much as I can. But I don't want to send them to California because it costs like $80 to ship a console. So not good for anybody to pay that much money. Yep. Awesome. Yeah. Any other things from the socials, Mark? I know I put that out there.
Don't think so. I think, I do apologize if we missed someone, but I'll keep going back to Twitter if you want to keep going back to Facebook. But let's move on to surprise game.
Yes, this is going to be fun. So, Mark, I also liked the game you liked.
And I loved yours, too. So some good picks. So what did we choose for these? I went with Super Mario Brothers 35. Never saw Nintendo doing this kind of game. I mean, Tetris 99 was a big enough surprise. Taking Super Mario Brothers and turning it into a battle royale of sorts. Huge surprise for me, and I love this. I love the original Super Mario Brothers. I loved 35. I thought it was a fun way to celebrate. I have fallen off of it, so it brings back to when it first launched. We were like, why is this only going to March 31st or whatever? Because in the summer,
it's apparently Mario's funeral.
Yeah,
like everything,
right.
Like because when you have an anniversary, Mark, after you have that fabulous anniversary, you just die. Which is just
exactly.
so silly.
Yeah, 100%. I am scared that now that I've fallen off this game, I'm going to get this hankering in the summer to be like, I could really use some Mario 35, and then it's going to be gone. So
and it's $35.
It's going to suck. Well, maybe, yeah. And I'm dumb enough to spend it because I like I said, I'm just dumb enough to do that. But yours was also a delightful surprise, and so happy that I picked this one up. And tell us about it.
Yeah, and I don't know if I started something. I don't want to claim to be like the guy that was like calling out this game earlier. I remember when I called out this game, like, this looks fantastic. This looks like the medieval game I always wanted, the Maximo game I always wanted in a modern sense that actually plays modern. Luke Lore loved this. A bunch of other people really loved it and called it out. And Pumpkin Jack, made by a one-man studio in France. I would love to have this developer on. I would love to. Maybe that's a goal for 2021. Have this guy on to say, how'd you do this? And how did you get the excitement behind it? And how did you capture the love? And this is going to be talked about later on, but I really enjoyed this game, but I did not play it enough. And it's on my pile of shame, as we'll talk about that. But this is a game I just not expect to know about and just loved, and it captured the Halloween spirit. And I played it during Halloween, which that, Mark, as you know, I've talked about this. If you're going to launch a Halloween game, don't launch it on Halloween.
Yes, correct.
Gaming sin. It goes back to the 10 Commandments. Gaming sins.
That's you got to write these down.
I do.
Yeah, absolutely. This is that was such a fun game, and yeah, you kind of nailed it. So I won't touch too much more on that.
Okay. Should we have some other surprises in the interwebs?
Absolutely. Edward Vernell got Hades on Switch as a surprise. Yeah, I have to agree with Edward where I had high expectations for that game, but maybe not so much Game of the Year nods and just consideration. That studio has a great pedigree, but like that good? I see what he's saying.
Yeah, it's amazing that I've always felt like a lot of Nintendo fans, they have always missed out because it's like, if it's not on my console, I will not acknowledge the game existence, which is just sad. But now that the Switch is just basically open for everybody, people are now finally experiencing the wonderful world of indies and other titles, which is great. So I love that they can do that more. And then that's great that console allows it. Brian Osterman also says Sky Rogue, and I had to look this game up because I didn't see it. It basically looks like a very cool, almost like it says it's a swishy roguelike action flight simulator. Kind of looks like Star Fox. It has a better like skins on it. And it looks very fun. I don't know if this would be a game that would be on iOS as well, but it's only $8 on Steam, so maybe it's available elsewhere, but it looks really cool. So Sky Rogue, check it out.
Very cool. Going from surprises to disappointments, Todd, what was your biggest gaming disappointment this year?
Man, I have two, which is just sad because the one should be a no-brainer. Avengers by Crystal Dynamics. They made the greatest new Tomb Raider. I love that franchise. And I'm like, this is basically a franchise you can't do anything wrong with. And unfortunately, they made Avengers into a loot game. And while the campaign was a lot of fun, I just couldn't find the fun anywhere else in this game. I just have not been able to get back into it. They've had some DLC that's come out with Kate Bishop. I just don't know if that will be enough to bring people back. They already said they have not been able to make back their development money. And I just kind of wish this had been more of like Ultimate Alliance 3 rather than a Destiny game. Yeah. That's a big one for me.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I love the story. I played half of the Kate Bishop campaign and just haven't really gone back to it yet. But yeah, definitely a disappointment, especially seeing how great Spider-Man was and how well received it was. And it didn't need looter shooter type mechanics to be fantastic. And I think this game was lesser because of that. And if they just focused on great story, it could have been something amazing. I think it would have been on another portion of this list.
Yeah, especially, with Mark, you showing me everything in Fortnite. I'm not a Fortnite player, and everything you've seen from the Marvel side there. And I'm like, they actually look like the characters I know. And it looks like it's so much fun. And there's so much care and love, and especially what they brought in Galactus. So I'm like, we got robots and we got droids and we got maybe a couple of villains, and we got so much more in Fortnite. It's kind of crazy. I'm not sure if Marvel's like, are they like not on the same page? Like, you don't do this stuff when we got Avengers, guys. And it's like, oh,
yeah,
weird.
we that was one thing I missed before. We did get a new Marvel pack in Avengers, and they announced it in a really, really cool way. So the pack is Captain Marvel, Taskmaster, and Black Panther. So we got the announcement of that was everyone kind of walking up to a Panther statue and the part of the soundtrack from Black Panther, and then Black Panther walked out and everyone's doing the Wakanda salute. The Wakanda salute was free to unlock in the game, and that triple pack of skins or characters cost real money, not V-Bucks, which was kind of weird, but that's something they've been doing. So I've been rocking the Captain Marvel and Black Panther skins for the last few matches I've played. Yeah, but to your point, they look fantastic, and I'm almost scared to see what some characters might look at, because like it's hard to mess up Captain America.
They can touch anything.
I thought they really messed him up in the Avengers game, but in Fortnite he looks great. So my biggest isn't really a game per se, but it's the fact that I'm not playing Halo right now, and that game was delayed probably at least a year, and we won't hear about it for a while. And that was just a big disappointment for me. But anyway, I'll leave that at that. So, chalk it up to COVID and weird looking enemies.
Yeah, we'll have more talk about Halo in future episodes, folks. So, because I have a few thoughts. But with Adam Leonard, he also said Iron Man VR. Apparently, that's really the platform holding it back, and maybe, hopefully, eventually, with the PS5 upgrade, that version will improve. But I think PSVR is long in the tooth and needs to probably be retired and get a new version out there. And Edward Varnell said Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, and I heard really the same thing. Like, that game just fumbled everything along the way, which is just sad because that's a GameCube classic in a way, I guess.
It was fun on GameCube. I remember playing that. It was very difficult to play because you needed up to 4 Game
Four
Boy
GBAs.
Advances and hooked it. It was
yeah.
It's a convoluted mess to try to play, but when you actually got to play it was kind of fun. So there was that. But yeah, that's I understand those ones. And you have one more on your list that I don't fully agree with, but I know exactly why it's on there.
Yeah, Super Mario 3D All Stars. I've really wanted to always get back into Mario 64 because it's a game I've tried to play, and I just feel like, yes, it's a classic for its time, but I think trying to play it now, the level design, the controls, the camera, it's more, if I want to keep playing it's because I'm not enjoying myself and I just want to do it versus enjoying myself. I feel like these are just ports that are up-resed versus actually being improved and giving people that are not of the time a better experience. It's a modern experience. I've had better experience with other games throughout time than these versions. Although I would say Galaxy, I think, holds up the best. I don't think Sunshine was improved, even though that's a game I loved on GameCube, but I will not go back and try it again because I feel like I'm sure I'm a worse gamer now. But yeah, I just feel like in a era of people really giving love to classic franchises and giving them updates and remakes and things like that, remasters, I feel like Nintendo just said we can just port these and people will buy them regardless, and we can not. And even though this was Mario's 35th birthday, they put the no love into any type of retrospective or feedback or developer insight, and I kind of feel like this is part of Nintendo. If you just let them do nothing, they'll do nothing and charge you a lot for it. So, to me, it was a disappointment. I've got it. I haven't touched it more than once, and I have no interest in touching it again. So, it's another reason why I rarely touch my Switch this year, unfortunately.
Right. I understand all of those points, and we've talked about it before, so I won't get too much into it. But there's preservation or remastering, and I still think they charge too much for this, but I am happy to play those games as they were pretty much originally. But I do also wish there was an option like we've seen remakes do this in the past where there's an option to turn off or turn on the new graphics and all that kind of stuff. So definitely frustrating, but did not make my disappointment list. Another slightly disappointing thing. What games did you add to your pile of shame?
Oh, yes. This is fun. I mean, it becomes a scenario where and I think people took it the wrong way. Pile of Shame is not a game that's bad. This is a game that I want to play, but it just has not. It just continues to build on games I'm going to put off, but I want to get back to. So Adam unfortunately took it the wrong way.
Moving out, he said that game sucks turds, but that's not.
No,
not quite. So that might go on his biggest disappointment pile. But what else do we get? Cyberpunk Scalpers from Edward. So that was again someone. What was the most shameful thing that happened this year? Not exactly what we were aiming for. So maybe pile of shame needs to be
refined
or something. Backlog of shame. I suppose. Of shame. Maybe that's, think so. That's a probably better version I think of what we were looking for. My list is very simple for this, and I could definitely expand this because I have a bad backlog. But the one that stood out the most for me that I didn't even touch and is available on so many platforms, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. I loved the first game. It had its problems or whatever, but I've heard so much good stuff about this. I've gone to play it so many times and I just never did. So that is my biggest pile of shame this year. But you have a few on yours, so let's.
And I would say your game as well, Mark. I mean, that game is available everywhere for free. I think on every system that I own because it's on Epic Game Store and all these things. But that game is supposed to be awesome. Yeah, it goes on my pile of shame because I only played a little bit and I want to play more. So I'm putting AC Valhalla. I finally, Mark, got to England. I'm going to England now.
Oh, mercy.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Like 10 hours in, I finally get the title screen. I want to play more of that game. I got it for Christmas from my wife, even though I had it from GameFly. So I'm going to continue with that. Cyberpunk. I said that's in early access now. It'll be played in 2021. Half-Life Alyx. Having a bad shoulder and finally had surgery on it in VR. you need to be able to use your arms in VR. So that's something that got on my pile of shame because I played a little bit and I had to step away. And I've got a new gaming PC, so I've got no excuses not to now because I've had the surgery. I'm hopefully getting stronger, which then goes to Vader Immortal. I love that game. It is so much fun, Mark. That's my only wish. I wish Series X supported VR so you could play this damn game because I think you would love it. So, but
I know
Oculus
I would.
Quest 2 for like $300, I think that's in your 2021 mark because there's nothing else coming out 2021. And if a Switch Pro comes out, put that off to get for you. But yeah, and then Streets of Rage 4. That game is so cool, so awesome. It looks so good, and I loved it. And it just once again, I'll get back to that game. It's on Game Pass. So yeah, these are not games that we didn't like, but this is games that just continue to grow as we move on to other games. So we don't want to forget these. And these are the games I'll play into hopefully early 2021, because I don't think there's any big games really that are going to pull me away from these, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and unfortunately everybody misunderstood what we meant for the pile of shame. So we'll get back to that next year, and we'll rename this title basically to Backlog of Shame.
One I want to add for both of us that I've downloaded on my Series X. I'm going to start it. I actually almost started this the other night, and then I just said, no, I'm going to bed. Hellblade.
Yes, Mark.
We've been talking about starting that
one game.
So that
once we get the release date for Hellblade 2, I thought we
Backlog of Shame. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So
that gives us a little more time.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Because I did almost start it, and I was like, I can't remember when we said we were going to start it, but I for some reason I downloaded it and I wanted to jump in. So that's on both of our lists. Right there. Yeah.
So this is the bread and butter, Mark. This is the final part. This is the top 5 and also honorable mentions. So honorable mentions are games we loved, but they didn't make our top 5. So I have more than you, but I probably cheated. That's okay. But let's go through what we had from our listeners. So Adam said he's going to cover his in Megadeth, so that's perfectly fine. Listen to Aaron or Adam, as we talked about. But Edward Varnell, number 1, Paper Mario. Number 2, Power Warriors Age of Calamity, which is surprising. That just came out. Murder by Numbers, which is supposed to be a fun Picross type game with a robot on Switch. Ghost of Tsushima, number 4, and Ori 2, number 5. Good list, Ed. Good list and
great list
to get.
Yeah. You know what? My wife and I have both been having a ton of fun with Hyrule Warriors. I 100% understand why that made your list, especially up close to number 2. It slows down like crazy when there's a ton going on, especially playing 2-player split screen. But it is just big, dumb fun if you're looking for an action movie of a video game that also ties in and tells some backstory about 100 years before Breath of the Wild. Like, this game just hits it. If you're expecting another Breath of the Wild, though, just don't. Like, go in expecting a Michael Bay movie, and you're not going to be disappointed. Like, it is just
you cannot climb everywhere, unfortunately.
It is just big, dumb murder 500 things on a screen and then move on. Like, that is the game, but it also fleshes out some stuff. I love it, but it's not for everyone.
That is a game I would definitely play on Switch Pro 2 or whatever we're calling it, because that game needs more horsepower. But I played the demo. 100%. We actually got it on GameFly, and my son's like, do you want to play it? And he said, yeah, I want to play it, and he never did. So he's waiting for another game. Oh, well. And then lastly, Brian Osterman gives us his top 5. Apex Legends. Wow. I mean, I was not into the game, but I know he has a huge following. Apparently with 2020 updates. Maneater, number 2. I loved that game. I thought it was fun. Very much like Sharknado on your console. And 3, Katamari Damacy Reroll. Was that on Switch?
Yes, it was.
Okay, then Star Wars Squadrons, number 4. There you go. And then Cyberpunk 2077 when it's not crashing. Yeah, so there you go. Glad to hear from everybody. This is awesome. Thank you for your comments.
Very cool.
And we would love to hear more from you in the future. But let's get to ours, Mark. So we got our top 5. So let's do this with us. Do you want to do honorable mentions first, or do you want to go from 5 down?
Oh, let's do honorable mentions first.
Okay. So honorable mentions, Mark. You've got one, which is, I don't know if it's a game or a system, as you talked about.
That's kind of why it's an honorable mention, because I wasn't sure where to put it, but I really enjoyed the Super Mario Game & Watch. I thought it was a great little collector's package, great excuse to burn through the original Super Mario Brothers again with no save points or anything, which was really fun. And it's just, like I said, just a nice little collection with some Easter eggs and just a cool collectible to have. I am also going to throw on, because I was going back, so I have 2 there as number 5. So right now I'm going to make a quick decision, and I'm going to put Fortnite in an honorable mentions position because they've done some really cool things this year. And even though the game didn't come out this year, like you mentioned earlier, they did a great Marvel crossover season. This season has Mandalorian and a bunch of other people from a bunch of other platforms. So you can effectively have, Captain Marvel on a team with Master Chief, on a team with Kratos, on a team with Giant Banana, and it all makes sense and it's all fun. And Fortnite has just kept going above and beyond the massive Galactus battle. It's just they just keep going for it, and they keep swinging. They keep just raising the bar. So honorable mention goes out to Fortnite.
Man, I live vicariously through you for Fortnite, and it's amazing. A friend of ours, Luke Lore, never played Fortnite before, finally got in because of all of the cool content, and that's great. And I always said, hey, Luke, you got questions? Talk to Mark. He's big.
Yeah, he jumped in on a game awesome. The other day, and I was playing with a full squad, and he ended up just jumping in and basically just saying hi and then taking off. And I was very disappointed that I couldn't play with Luke, so I'll have to get on with him sometime very soon and have a few matches.
Absolutely. That's going to be awesome. Yeah. So I can't wait. I don't know what can come to Fortnite next, Mark. I really don't know. I just,
better be Samus. That's
it's going to be like SpongeBob SquarePants, and it's going to be like Knight Rider. I don't know. We'll
100%.
Yeah, for me, which I had to pick a game that came out last year, but I finally got a copy of, when a lot of people actually finally got a copy of, and that's Ring Fit Adventure. And I love that game. It's the game that brought me back to Switch. It was they made exercising awesome, and now that my shoulder is healed, I'm going to get back to the game, but I loved it. Logan and I were both doing it, and I tell you, that has been awesome. To just have something that makes working out challenging and entertaining, and that's what requires a lot of people to stay engaged. So I want to get back to that. So that's something in my 2021 that I will definitely do. Should be on my pile of shame, but I'm definitely doing it. So I will not be denied. Along with that, Crash 4. Oh my God, this game came out this year. I did not expect to like it because I did not play. I remember the Crash games. Did horribly with them. I was nostalgic, and I played the Crash Collection, and I didn't like it. But the Crash 4 game, it's a modern platformer that is very fun and engaging and entertaining, and the levels are awesome. So I just love that game. I beat it, and I didn't think I was going to, because I'm like, this is a really challenging game. It's like the Dark Souls of platformers in a way. So just absolutely love that game. Definitely enjoyed that so much.
Awesome.
So now we get into,
top 5s.
I did have one more game, but I'm going to hold off on that one because, I can't reveal everything now. So we're going to get into our top 5. So we'll start with 5. And the whole point of this, though, is if we get any games that intersect, that will be our co-op mode game of the year, a collaborative effort. So I think I know what it's going to be, but let's go through this. So number 5, Mark, you've got one game. But I'm very jealous I never played.
I mentioned it earlier, Shantae and the Seven Sirens. I am counting this as a 2020 game, although part of it was out in 2019. But for 2020, I love this series. I loved this game, and you can play it in a ton of places. So go play it, Shantae and the Seven Sirens. That is my number 5 pick.
I cannot wait to play it. And the problem with the Shantae's games, I can't remember which one game is which. It's like, is that the new one? I don't know. I want to play them, though, so I got to figure out what it is.
There are a ton of them. You can't go wrong starting at any single point, because the characters and stories do kind of continue, but they're all their own little, little story, self-contained story kind of thing.
And this is animated versus more 8-bit or 16-bit.
Yeah. This is like a hand-drawn animation style that they've been using for the last few. So it's a gorgeous looking game, plays so well, and it's just a great, fun Metroidvania style game. And I have a soft spot for this series and those types of games. So that is my number 5.
Perfect pick. For me, this is a hard one because number 5 would have been Ori, excluding the fact that when I played this game, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, it is one of the best platformers I've ever played. It is a fantastic story. It is touching. It is excellent. This is really platforming at its best. But when I played this game on Xbox One S, this game had technical issues that just got in the way of the game, unfortunately. I played it too early. I think, Mark, if you play this game now on the Series X, you're going to see like the best looking game ever in 6K, and it's going to be awesome.
That's another one on my backlog of shame, I think, because the first game was so great, and I haven't touched it.
To play. This is the game you need to really. It's just awesome. I loved it. Didn't love the last story especially after playing this game. Trying to go back, it's really hard because they did so many good things to really improve the playability and the. But yeah, I had issues with frame rates where you'd get chugs. It would impact my gameplay. You had glitches all over the place. So I wanted to love this game more, but it just at the time I played it, it got in the way. But it's awesome now, and everybody should play this game. But it's also tied with Astro's Playroom, which is a short game. It's 4 hours long. It's a pack-in that comes with my PlayStation 5 just to be a demo of what the DualSense can do. And this game does so much more than this. This game is one of the best. Like I talk about the Mario 3D All-Star Collection being an anniversary. This game is 100% better in actually embracing what makes PlayStation its history awesome. And it just shows Nintendo you can do better, and I love that. That's what's great about competition. Yeah. Nintendo, do better at this stuff because people want this type of stuff. I want to collect the crappy multi-tap for the PlayStation 2. And the platforming is awesome. The music is awesome. And Astro is totally adorable, and all the way they incorporate the history of PlayStation is fantastic. And I want to go back and platinum this game because there's so much more to do. So that is my number 5. It's a tie, and I cheated, Mark.
That is perfectly acceptable. I'll let you get away with that. So moving on, my number 4, again, talking about how to do I guess we're going to just keep on making fun of the 3D All-Stars collection, but how to do a remake right. Tony Hawk 1 and 2. I absolutely love this. Brought me right back to when these games first released and sitting there for hours and playing with my brother. And he was way better and still is. But I still love this game, and the soundtrack just hits. They've added to the soundtrack, and all of the new songs work. This is exactly how to do a remake or remaster the right way. I loved it, still love it. I was playing it over the holidays. Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
I'll play that game when they bring back Spider-Man and Darth Maul's DLC content.
Yes, I was kind of disappointed that they didn't, but still really, really cool.
I could never get past the first level, but it was still so good and so much fun. Oh, my God, such a classic. Awesome to hear. That's awesome. Number 4, Immortals, Phoenix Rising. We talked about this game. I have nothing else to say except I'm not done with this game. And maybe if I was complete with this game, it would move further up on my list, but I can't because I'm not done with it. I'm probably halfway through. And I love this game, and I'm going to play more of it. And it's the game it came late in the year, unfortunately. I wish this game had come earlier because I had a lot of gaps where would have loved to play more of this game. But Immortals is the game I've been waiting for. It is, yes, it has inspired by Breath of the Wild, but also Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and it just has a sense of humor that I just did not expect to get. So Immortals is my number 4.
Awesome. My number 3 is, you just mentioned it, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That is, I love this franchise. I love what they've done with this one. I thought the Vikings were an interesting choice to play as because you weren't quite an assassin when when you jump into this game. You're a badass Viking, and I love the setting. Like you say, you go from Norway to England, and you can still see some of the ruins of the Roman Empire in England. And I love how the story just kind of played out, and you can make it your story with male, female, or let the animus choose Ivor. I loved the direction that they took this series in with this game, and it continued to impress, especially on new hardware.
I can't wait to play more. I'm enjoying it. This is probably going to be the first Assassin's Creed game I actually beat, which is just that tells me how much I enjoy it, and I'm like, I just can't wait to see where this goes. So yeah, awesome pick, Mark. And yeah, we have been blessed this year, actually. Ubisoft Canada, thank you so much for supporting us. We love your games, and we don't want to give reviews that are just like, I guess, without merit, but you have shown us some great content. So thank you. We want to support you, and we want to hopefully you'll support us as well.
Absolutely.
For me, Last of Us 2, I did my one and only roundtable on Couch Mode, and it was a great time to do this, especially in like 2020 when it's a hard year. This is a hard game, and I needed people to talk through this game with me, and we had a great roundtable, and I really thank them for all being on that and being part of the show. This is a masterpiece, but it is not a game I enjoyed playing, if that's the best way to put it. This is kind of like a important movie that is hard to watch. This is not fun, and that's the hard part. You say games should be fun, but not everything in media is meant to be fun. It can be a challenge. And this is one of those moments where I felt like media actually challenged me to get through it, which, you don't have to be good at reading a book, Mark. You don't have to be good at watching a TV show. But this game made you actually have to move forward and make the decision versus the person you're watching on screen or the person you're reading in your book. So I liked what it did. I thought it really pushed you forward. And I think it took the idea of your actions have consequences. And this game is all about dealing with your consequences and understanding, can you understand where the other side is coming from? And that's what this game taught us. And so I wouldn't recommend this to people that are not up for that challenge. But if you are interested, it's definitely worth it. But once again, I didn't have fun, and I don't want to revisit this game. But I could not replace my experience with this game.
And that's kind of what I was talking about before with at the start of the show with the Game Awards having some stuff that was I don't know, a little almost, I don't want to say predictable, but a little like they just kind of like that was the choice that they had to do to make them a legit award show kind of thing. Because how often is a feel good kind of fun movie going to win Oscar kind of thing? It's usually those movies that are hard to watch but mean something and that kind of thing. And for me this year, video games were I needed a bright spot, and it was all about fun. So my video game time got reduced with the baby, and then 2020 just in general was just a kick. And so for me, a lot of these games you're seeing. Whether it's Fun and Light with Shantae, Tony Hawk bringing me back to my childhood, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, not quite fun and light, but definitely a release of going out and just being a badass Viking. Yeah. And that kind of leads into, again, keeping on going with this. My second game, you already mentioned it for your fourth, it's Immortals Phoenix Rising. And this was such a fun and unexpected game. We talked about it. I'm not going to add too much more, but just again, such a fun, unexpected new IP. I did not. We got these codes pretty close together with Assassin's Creed and Immortals Phoenix Rising. And if back in September or back in the summer, you said, hey, which game do you think you're going to spend more time with or enjoy spending time with, Assassin's Creed or Immortals? For me personally, an Assassin's Creed fan since the beginning, to say, no, if I have the choice, I'm playing Immortals. That is massive to me. So I had to put Immortals one step above. That is my number 2 game. I really hope they keep going with this franchise. I want more of this DLC, sequel, whatever it is, bring it on. Thank you, Ubisoft. This was a great game this year and so much fun.
You came for the gods. But you stayed for the chickens, Mark. Right?
That's exactly it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that Ubisoft is behind this game, any other studio, I worry that they would abandon this, but I think Ubisoft will stick with this, and that makes me very happy. Yeah. So number 2 for me, Miles Morales, or Spider-Man Miles Morales, whatever you want to call it, and wherever you want to play this. This game came out on PS5 and also PS4. I love the first Spider-Man on PS4, and I thought, it couldn't get any better. I love Spider-Verse and didn't expect I'd see a better take on Miles Morales than I saw in that movie. This game, as I played it, touched my heart. It did. It really did. I felt for Miles. I was excited for Miles, and I loved being Miles and everything he went through in this game with his family and the world he lives in and the way he brought New York to life in Christmas, in a time when people can't be in New York in Christmas and everything going around, and the way they brought that world together, plus also just representing him as a character who is both Black and Latino, and bringing those worlds together and how he lives and just embracing that. But also the music is phenomenal and just brought that to life. It felt like Spider-Verse and felt so much different than Peter Parker Spider-Man. And the way this told the story and kept it tight and just really added on to the mechanics of being Spider-Man, but also being Miles with his abilities. Wow. Even if you have a PS4, base PS4, play this game. PS4 Pro, even better. PS5, the best. But any way you do this game, play it. It is phenomenal. It is one of the best games that I experienced. It's short, but it does not say it's welcome. But you can go back and, like I'm going to have to, and pick up the extra things, get the extra costumes, and some of the costumes are awesome. I mean, you almost look like Daft Punk at the end of the game because you got like digital readouts and headphones. And,
I saw that outfit. It's awesome.
And Logan loved this game. He didn't play PS4 Spider-Man. He said, I dropped it. He came back and he completed this game and got all the costumes. So wow. I just cannot say much about so much about this. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Spider-Man 2. But man, Miles hopefully gets his own standalone game because he deserves it. I love this game.
Awesome. Yeah, this is another one, I guess, on that backlog of shame that I'm not sure if my brother picks up a PlayStation 5, I might try to play it there. And that's kind of why I've been holding off. But eventually I'm just going to have to get it from my PlayStation 4 and just suck it up. So, yeah.
Number 1, Mark. Woo, it's been a long journey, but now we are here.
Alrighty. Mine is, I thought about this for a while, and it was definitely not the best technical game that I played. It's not the best game that I played this year, but I mentioned it earlier on in the show and said it was the game that the world needed at the time it was released. And I think as far as like what the game that represented my take on 2020 and just how this year kind of went was Animal Crossing. And I questioned where to put this in my list. At some points it was on number 5 and it ended up at number 1, but it's a really weird one for me, but I'm putting it at number 1 just because of just what it did at the time it was released was, I haven't really gone back and played it. I haven't played the Christmas DLC or any of that kind of stuff. I've been moving on to other games that are a little lower on this list that we've mentioned already. But I thought Animal Crossing was very, very important this year. So that's why it's my number 1.
Absolutely. That game, I have so many friends that are not video gamers that have really dug in. I really thought my son was going to get me into this game, and I thought he was going to stick with this game. It just didn't. And I've said I really wish Nintendo rethought their focus on you need your own Switch to have your own island, because Logan already built up his island and I visited it, and I'm like, okay, I kind of feel like I'm just a vagrant on your land at this point. So I really wish they rethought that, because I think that would be – we talk about, making gaming accessible. asking a family to have multiple Switches so you can play multiple islands is the only real issue I have with this game. But
there's a ton of issues that they could have done better with this game, whether it's connection issues, visiting other people's islands, voice chat just not being a thing, or any easy way to do that. But one thing that put this on the top of my list was seeing a cousin of mine who's, I'll say, casual video game player at best. This was her big thing, and she couldn't find a Switch for the longest time. They've still been sold out, and she got one for Christmas and got Animal Crossing, and it was that excitement level of, I've been searching for this for so long, I can't wait to play it. And not someone that would strike me or anyone else as someone who's desperately been wanting to play Animal Crossing for months and couldn't. Just seeing that level of excitement, I think, kind of brought it back to like what this game means for not just big video game fans, but like just the casual audience as well. So that I think kind of pushed it up my list, thinking about that kind of impact as well. So
yeah, absolutely. A life simulator when your life kind of sucks, and having something where you can just own your own place and make it your own and share it with others is awesome. And it's great. And the fact that Sims is still not on Switch, shame on you.
Crazy.
Shame on you, because that would bring people there too. Awesome. Well, my number one is a new IP on a studio I never thought that would make this game. Sucker Punch Studio made Sly Cooper. Then they made Infamous, which is one of my favorite games on PlayStation 3. Then made basically Assassin's Creed Japan. This is what this game is.
Yeah.
They owe a lot to Assassin's Creed, but they actually made me like an Assassin's Creed game that was an Assassin's Creed game. I think the way they did it, though, was they took that idea and they said, we're going to make this a cinematic game. And they really clued in with having a cinematic mode that is essentially Japanese cinema. And they called it out. Black and white, and the way they do the wipes and the way they finish everything that they incorporate. It's so cinematic, and it is just something I just loved. The person that actually got me to continue on this game was my son. Logan loved this game. He's a Japanophile. He loves anime, and he loved this game. I heard from people that are from Japan, they couldn't believe an American studio did this game, because they're like, they actually were respectful. They understood the culture and the way they made it. I loved the main storyline. I loved the side quests. I loved finding fox dens and petting the foxes. I loved finding people that needed to do stupid things to make them happy. I love the fact that I could climb up a mountain that was full of snow and I almost died to get a flaming sword that I did not expect in this game. And I love the fact that this developer then added basically a multiplayer game called Legends that was inspired by the yokai demons that allowed people to go on a co-op basically strike like Destiny and take this on. And they didn't charge you, and they didn't even say this is something they told you about when they launched this game. So this game just made my heart full. The story was excellent and was unexpected. And I love that we got this year. And this game was never delayed, and it wasn't bad. The load times were fast, and it's going to be even better on PS5. That's fun. So thank you, Sucker Punch. That's an excellent game. Mark, 2020 gave us so much love. Yep. This is awesome. Thank you, developers. Thank you, studios. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been an awesome year.
Mm-hmm. And I guess we have our Couchie award. We have one game across both of our lists. That means it is our co-op mode game of the year. Todd, what is that game?
Mortals Phoenix Rising. Thank you, Absolutely. Ubisoft Canada. Thank you for providing the code so we could, just get to at least try this game. And thankfully we didn't poop on this game, but we loved it. Yeah.
I want to say like that. Us getting a review code for this game did not influence my love of this game whatsoever. I've gotten review codes in the past that I'm like, swing and a miss, bud. Like, just Nope. But with this one, yeah, I mean, we've talked about just how special it is, and I'm super happy that it's our co-op mode game of the year.
And hopefully people are listening to us and actually give this game a try, because it really deserves it. So
absolutely.
Yeah, we're not bought and sold. We have gotten a couple of codes from other developers this year that we weren't like that ecstatic about. So I'm glad this one actually turned out really well, and I can't wait to play more. And there's DLC coming for this game, and I love what they're doing with it, and it's going to keep people engaged, and it's going to make this game even better down the road. But Mark, I do want to call out one game that I think anyone could try and play, especially in 2020. In a way, I think it was the game that brought most people together in my life, and that is Jackbox. It is the game I played with friends and family as we got together on Zoom calls where we felt awkward and uncomfortable, and playing those stupid trivia games and robot rap battles. Oh my goodness. And one night, you, me, Charlie, and Alex will do a Zoom Jackbox game.
I like it.
I am committing to it now, and we will do it.
Sounds fun to me.
But Mark, in the meantime, how can people find us?
Well, you can follow us on Twitter at co_opmode_pod or at toxtra, or find me at _Canardian. You can leave us a review. We'd really appreciate that on iTunes or any other podcast service. Make sure to take a screenshot and tag us on Twitter or wherever, so we know, because I can't read American reviews, Todd can't read Canadian reviews, and we can't read reviews from any other country than the ones we're in. So always very much appreciated, though. Helps us be found and all that kind of stuff. We also have t-shirts. You can find a shop at TeePublic. There's shirts for a ton of stuff, all of our different shows and all that fun stuff. So, and it's not only shirts, you can get it on stickers and mouse pads and whatever else you want. So a ton of stuff over on TeePublic. And of course, we're part of the Secret Friends Unite network. So there's other shows like Holocron Chronicles, Code 47, all separate feeds now. It's a whole bunch of fun stuff on the Secret Friends family.
Yes. Yeah, so hopefully, folks, you've enjoyed that. We've grown a lot this year, and we will have more guests, more friends, and more family on in 2021. If you want to be part of the show, let us know. But with that, Mark, thank you again. I always appreciate your friendship and your Canadianness, so thank you again for a good 2020.
You're welcome, eh? But yeah, no, thanks for another great year of co-op mode. I love doing this and love helping expand the Secret Friends family with Holocron now and keep going that way. So the 2021 is going to be bigger and better. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. But thanks everyone for listening and being along for the ride.
Excellent. And remember, folks, it's always better to game together.
Out drinking with my boys late night. Come home to my lady past midnight. She waiting up, she throwing me shade. We having words, this is what she said. She said I'm out too late. She pushed me away. There ain't nothing in the world that I can say. So I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. She got me on the couch tonight. I did wrong, but I meant to do right. Now I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. I'm sleeping on the couch.
Working late, making paper, hitting deadlines. Coming home, I was crawling into bedtime. I pulled a sheet telling me no. I asked her why, but I already know.
I'm on the couch tonight. She got me on the couch tonight. She in bed all tucked in tight, but I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. I'm sleeping on the couch.
We make dinner like lovers do. I pour her wine and I'm
sleeping on the couch tonight. She got me on the couch tonight. Don't seem to fair this time. Sleeping on the couch tonight. She got me on the couch. I wake her up with roses on the bed.
Oh, hey.
Tell her all the sweet thoughts in my head.
Yeah.
She roll her eyes and I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. She got me on the couch.
I buy her Prada, say I love her mama. She says I'm
sleeping on the couch tonight. She got me on the couch.
I say hello and
I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. Sleeping on the couch tonight. She got me on the.
Girl, we all make mistakes, it's true. Tell me what I gotta do to get back in the bed with you. What did I ever do to you? Oh,
What I do, girl?
cheated on me me almost every day.
True.
I caught you cheating on me yesterday.
You did.
You even cheated on me on my couch.
Yes.
And that's why your ass is in the doghouse.
Babe.
I ain't mad about you working late.
Good.
But you got 10 credit cards in my name.
Word.
You max them out, now my credit's bad.
Right.
And what'd you take out? Life insurance on me.
We broke up 5 years ago.
And
I got married to another guy.
And
He's sick of you crashing here.
And
You really gotta stop coming over here.
what?
I guess I'm sleeping in my car tonight. Sleeping in my.
You can't park in the driveway, bud. You can, come on, you gotta go. Let's go.
You don't have to stand there and watch me leave.
No, I don't have to, but I'm gonna.